Hi, I'm Dr. Margreet Barnard, your host of the Birth and Baby Show, brought to you by Birth and Baby and Sensitive Midwifery. We empower moms, midwives, and birth workers to have the best birthing and parenting experience through natural, physiological, and intuitive care, resulting in birth and baby advice you can trust.
This episode is proudly sponsored by Probiotics. In a wellness space crowded with trends and quick fixes, Probiotics stands out for its evidence-based approach to microbiome support. The brand focuses on targeted probiotic and gut health formulations designed to address real concerns, from digestive balance and regularity to urinary tract and immune support. Rather than offering generic blends, Probitech prioritizes clinically studied strains and functional ingredients at meaningful doses. Its range reflects a growing understanding of the gut as a central driver of overall health, influencing immunity, metabolism, and even mood. By combining probiotics, prebiotic fibers, and complementary nutrients, Probitech aims to support the body's natural systems rather than override them. The result is a modern, science led approach to everyday well being, rooted in the belief that better health begins in the gut. Welcome back to the Birth and Baby Show. I am your host, Margreet, and today we are diving deep into a topic that affects almost every single one of us, but one we actually rarely talk about until something goes wrong: our gut health. They call it also the second brain, and for good reason. From our mood and energy levels to how our skin looks and how our immune system fights off viruses, it all starts in the gut. But with so many noise in the aisle, how do we know what exact actually works? Okay, I'm going to start again. Welcome back to the Birth and Baby Show. I'm your host, Margreet, and today we are diving deep into a topic that affects almost every single one of us, but one we rarely talk about until something goes wrong: our gut health. They also call it the second brain, and for good reason. From our mood and energy levels to how our skin looks and how our immune system fights off viruses, it all starts in the gut. But with so much noise in the supplement aisle, how do we know what actually works? Joining me today is Jason Stewart, the founder of Probitech. And Jason is on a mission to move past the marketing fluff and bring real clinical science to the world of probiotics. Today, we are going to find out why most probiotics never actually make it to your gut, and also why your healthy yogurt might not be enough, and how Jason's smarter probiotics are changing the game. Jason, welcome to the show. So, Jason, so nice to have you with me. But before we start diving in, just tell us a little bit more about yourself.
So I am one of the founding directors of Probiotic Health, which is a probiotic brand that is focused on improving and supporting the microbiome and the effect that it has on our body. And we've been running the business for about 3 years now. And leading into that, I had my own health issue as well, which I struggled with chronic fatigue, and I struggled with flu-like symptoms, and I've probably got a list of about 30 different issues that I struggled with, and went to hundreds of, it felt like hundreds, but probably close on 100 doctors to try and get help, and not one of them actually looked at the gut and the microbiome. And through my own research, and this was about 15 years ago, slowly started understanding the impact of the gut on our health, and started my journey to improve my gut health and thereby the rest of my health, probably very proactively about 5-7 years ago. And that's how I got into the space as well, coming from a brand and a marketing background before that. So I'm very passionate about the microbiome. I'm very passionate about improving the gut and looking after the trillions of little bacteria that are inside us that are working day and night to help improve our lives.
Oh, beautiful. So you definitely had like your own personal journey, as it sounds, to get to do what you do today. Um, and when
Yes.
was that moment that you realized it's actually the gut health that's the key to you not feeling the way you were meant to be and having all your health issues?
I mean, I'll probably need to overshare if you're looking for a eureka moment, because with improving your gut health, that can take time. But for me, it was literally within 2 days of taking Probitech, my own probiotic, and seeing an immediate change in my morning routine, which my wife even commented on. So that is probably overshare, but I think it's something that we all deal with and struggle with. And so I can be open and honest. But it's amazing to be able to see an immediate effect within days to hours to days as well. And
Mm.
that's what's so beautiful about the gut health and the microbiome is it's so important. It's so easily damaged and taken advantage of to our own detriment, but it's also so adaptable and it's so easy to fix. And
Wow.
so when I was able to feel that difference and that immediate effect, that was for me, this is, something's going on here. This is exciting. And then to see the journey that I was able to go over for kind of a period of about 6 months when I had been struggling for about 13 years before that. And within 6 months was able to come back to a state of being healthy and normalize in terms of how I can experience life and exercise and have a social life and play with my kids and that.
So that is very reassuring to hear, actually, that it is resolvable, fairly easy, and also easy to actually unsettle your gut. Um, so
Yes.
yeah, so what was with for you starting Probitech? What was then the key that you wanted to address there?
So I think what is so frustrating for me is that the gut microbiome is so central to your health, and it is so easy to improve it. And what we're doing and how we're living our lives is impacting it quite negatively, from the antibiotics that we take when we shouldn't be taking them, from the diet that we have, from the stress that we're experiencing, and a lot of lifestyle factors, especially the food that we eat. But there's this wave of understanding that's kind of washing over the world right now, with people understanding that gut health is important and that education is growing, and we're having conversations like this, and there's more attention being paid to it. And so what people are doing is they're eating fermented foods, they're eating more fiber rich foods, which is wonderful. They're taking more probiotics. But from us, from a Probitech side, what we do know though, and this is the big kind of misconception or kind of the biggest problem facing probiotics that nobody knows about or is talking about, is that there are these incredibly effective, efficient, beautiful little live microorganisms. I've got incredible respect for them because they kind of, I see them as these trillions of little helpers that are in your body doing these things that we don't even know about. But if we didn't have them, we would die within days. So they're there working, and people are taking probiotics expecting relief to come. But because they are so fragile, if they're exposed to oxygen, they die. If they're exposed to heat above room temperature, they die off. So the big problem with probiotics is getting them to your intestine where they need to be in a live, viable form so that they can actually survive and do their job. The problem is that they're produced in a way that doesn't really protect them. They are then put in packaging that doesn't protect them. They are shipped in heat across oceans, sitting in storage rooms on the shelf. And between 50% and 90% of that dose is probably dead before a customer even buys it. So you're getting a very small portion. And then secondly, when you swallow that probiotic, it gets exposed to stomach acid and other gastric juices, and that destroys 80 to 100%. So you're buying what you think is 10 billion CFUs, but you're getting a few hundred million, which does nothing. So the only benefit you're getting is a placebo effect or nothing, and you're basically wasting your money. And that's where Probitech, we've come in with our solution, which is a technology that protects that dose from the moment of production all the way through sitting on shelf to your intestines. So we have a patented capsule technology, and we guarantee 100% of the dose for 2 years on shelf and full stomach acid protection. It's a beautiful little capsule. I probably should have had one with me here. but people get excited when they see it and feel it. But that's the key thing, because it's not the dose you're buying, it's the dose that gets into your intestine. And the more of the good bacteria that you have in your gut, the more of a benefit there's going to be.
Wow, that sounds amazing. I want to unpack that a bit also for the listeners, that maybe this is for the first time that are really paying attention to the quality of probiotics. Um, so you say that, like, yes, there's this awareness of gut health and the importance of our microbiome. I totally vouch for that. I think it's come for quite a long time now, and I think everyone has heard of gut health and IBS and everything that comes with gut health. But even myself have been very confused with what probiotics to take, and almost like gave up on taking them, because I've also heard that, hey, they get unstable and so forth. So you get very confused about what to take. So you really have found your niche in addressing that, and that is really commendable. And obviously you've done a lot of tests, and first and foremost on yourself, that it's working. Jason, how would you go about telling people that have gut health issues to use it? Is it something you always should be using, or is it something that you use if you have issues? Tell us a bit more about that.
Okay, so I think that there are many different gut-related conditions and issues that people experience, from constipation to IBS, like you mentioned, diarrhea, gastritis, the list goes on. But there are three main components to understanding the causes of these, if we just kind of try and simplify it. The first is an imbalance within the gut bacteria within your gut. So that means you've got dysbiosis, which is a term that is becoming more and more popular. And that means a lot of bad bacteria, not enough good bacteria. So dysbiosis leads to things like bloating, diarrhea, and other digestive issues. And then you have the gut function where it's compromised. So that could be anything from there's low short chain fatty acids, so the signaling isn't really working well. The cells within your gut lining are weak. There's not a strong mucosal layer, and it's the actual environment, structure, and function of the gut. Now, to have a healthy gut, you need both of those working really well. And then the third element is that the link between the gut and the brain, and the gut-brain axis, because when you're feeling stressed, when you're feeling anxious, that directly impacts your gut, and vice versa. The communication actually from the gut to the brain is 80% up, rather than from the brain to the gut. So that is a trigger for flares and for other issues and conditions. So when you're looking at resolving your gut issue, it's understanding, is it dysbiosis? Is it a compromised gut? Or is it the gut brain? Or is it all of those? And it's often generally all of those that are encompassed in it. So it's very much dependent on why you are wanting to take a supplement, why you need to take a supplement. But if you're struggling with constipation, that is a factor of dysbiosis as well as compromised gut function. If you've got IBS, it's the same. So it's really once you understand that, it's finding the right solution for you. And there it's understanding the strains as well that are related to your gut function. So we've got a phenomenal product called Probiotic IBS. If I can mention it, it's got 8 strains, 20 billion CFUs. It's all in the world's most advanced probiotic capsule, so it gets into your gut. But the 8 strains there have been chosen specifically for the symptoms that are related to IBS. So there's a strain there that deals with the gut-brain axis. It's called the gut-brain whisperer is its nickname. And that helps you manage your stress and experience of stress and exhaustion levels. There's another strain that works on the whole gut transit time. So if you have constipation, it makes it more regular. Another strain that works on pain. But all of the strains that are used in probiotic supplements generally have 4 to 5 different benefits. So these strains that we've selected are in a proprietary formula, and they have overlapping and compounding benefits. So they are dealing with all these different symptoms and conditions from multiple mechanisms of action. And so that's choosing your probiotic very importantly. But then there's a second product as well, and I'm sorry to jump into products. straight away, but it's talking to improving the compromised gut function. And there are ingredients are prebiotic fiber, glutamine, and digestive enzymes. And that's to fuel your gut function and create the right environment so that you can thrive. So I always say taking probiotics are like adding superheroes into an environment, but they can only do so much if that environment is functioning well. So you need the right environment and you need the superheroes. The beauty of good gut health is that you can also get this through managing your lifestyle and through food. So taking probiotics isn't just the one fit, one solution. If you're eating badly, you're still going to struggle. So we do encourage people to try and include more fermented foods, fiber-rich plant foods, as much diversity as you should. And to think of who you're eating for. It's not only you, but it's the trillions of bacteria inside you as well.
Yeah, great. I saw on your website that you've actually unpacked so many conditions. So that's really beautiful. So for the listeners, we will definitely share the website to also look there. And I also like it you say the healthy lifestyle. We can never get lazy on that one. So it all
Yes.
supports it all. So, Jason, how can someone that is aware of tummy troubles needing help, what are some of the main symptoms that I need to look out for and say, yeah, I need to start working on loving my gut?
Yeah, so the gut is central to all our health, and so it shows up in different ways. So from the way that we're feeling within our mood, and the way that our brain functions, because it's directly linked through the vagus nerve, and what we've got about 100 different neurotransmitters that are produced within the body, and 30 of those are produced within the gut. So 95% of your serotonin, your GABA, your melatonin, your dopamine, epinephrine, all of those are produced in the gut. And if your gut is inflamed or if it's dysfunctioning or if you have dysbiosis, less of those are being produced, affecting how you show up and how you think and how you're able to process. And it's also linked to your emotional state, levels of anxiety versus levels of calm.
Mm.
So the first state is, do I have brain fog? Do I have high anxiety? That is probably a strong indication that there's something happening there. It also shows up in your skin very clearly. That's probably one of the direct links around eczema as well. And if you're struggling with inflammation, because that's shown up through a breakdown in gut function. And then immunity is the gut plays a key role for your immunity. So over 70% of your immune system sits in your gut. And from birth, your bacteria are training your immune system. They're telling the immune system what is good, what is bad, what to look out for. And so if you're in a state of dysbiosis, it's not as strong. If you have gut function issues, you're impacting your immune system. And so those are just kind of like some of the elements that you can look for. Obviously, what happens when you go to the toilet is a very big indicator as well. Constipation is something that affects an enormous amount of people, as well as women that are pregnant, and that is actually quite a serious condition because it keeps toxins within your body that also keeps inflammation. And again, all of these things, not to scare people, but because the gut system and our bacteria are so adaptable, changes can be seen within weeks. It's not kind of years or decades. So people don't need to worry if they are having a flare up or something or feel guilty, but they can just adjust and start feeding that bacteria or supplementing with the probiotic.
That's so true. I find our bodies are so forgiving. As if you give them the right stuff back, it quickly bounces back. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Jason, I'm already excited for our follow-up podcast where we're going to apply it more to the mom and baby topic specifically, because I can already think even on the effect of all of this on babies, and there's so many with skin issues and eczema and children, etc. But we're going to do it for general knowledge for everyone, because it's so important for everyone to lay the foundation. One thing I want us to really also talk about is just what kills our bacteria, our healthy gut so much in our these days. Like, why are we so seeing all these troubles so much? Or I feel like more than ever before. Why are we facing this gut health pandemic? What are the killers?
Okay, so maybe if I can just take a step back on that to explain the killers. So in terms of, and this also comes into our children, but in terms of our DNA, we are 99.9% the same. So you and me are very similar based on our DNA. There's very small margin of difference within our DNA code. What is very different between us and our family members and our friends is our microbiome. We only share about 30% of our microbiome with each other. And that is because we're exposed to different environmental factors, we eat different things, and all of those things affect our gut bacteria and the composition of it. So the point there of why I'm sharing that is because we are so uniquely ourselves, and the bacteria that we have in our body versus our DNA influences how we experience life. And that comes back down to why we are so adaptable, but also what impacts us so negatively. So antibiotics is obviously a big destructive force for gut bacteria. I think what is important to disclaim here is antibiotics have been crucial to human society progressing and to saving lives, and have played a key role, and they do play a key role in certain instances. But we do know that there is an overprescription and an overuse of them. And what's really important, especially for yourself as well as your children or your babies, is making sure you only use antibiotics when is needed, because depending on that antibiotic, it can destroy your gut microbiome, where you take in 6 months to 2 years to bounce back to the same levels. So that's probably one of the most the biggest impacts. Other medications as well have an impact, which people don't talk about. So if you're on diabetes medication, or if you're taking the GLP-1 drugs or other things like that, they often disrupt your microbiome and they lead to some form of dysbiosis, and people getting diarrhea or constipation. That's a very good indication. But then it's the general lifestyle factors, and this is where it's really easy to improve your gut microbiome, but it's also very easily influenced. So sleep impacts your gut, the amount of exercise you have. Stress has a big impact on your gut microbiome bacteria, and then lastly, diet. And again, if somebody's really conscious around improving gut health, you can get into a state where you're feeling guilty about this glass of wine or this chocolate, and we shouldn't do that because it is so adaptable. But generally, it's your antibiotics and your medications, and then the lifestyle factors that are easy to access, the good ones, but very hard to control because of the pressures and stresses and time that pressures that we're under. So yeah, so those are kind of the silent killers, if you'd like to say. And I think the biggest one that you can control is the diet. So the sugars and the carbs are feeding the bad bacteria, and the plants and fermented foods are feeding the good bacteria.
Yeah, so that brings me back to then trying to figure out when and who should take your probiotics. So is it something that you would advise us just standard doing as a supplement, or can you say like, okay, I had a hectic time, I've been traveling, I've been stressing, I have been eating bad, my body needs some more, and then you do that, or I've been having antibiotics, I'm taking a cure of probiotics. How would you advise that?
So I think in an ideal world, nobody would need to take any supplements because we're not under any force or pressure or stress. The reality is we always are. As you said, we're traveling, we're taking antibiotics, we're under pressure at work. And so if you are compromising your gut, we need to understand that will have a detrimental effect on the rest of our health,
Yeah.
whether it is chronic or acute or extreme, but it will affect how our brain operates. It will affect our digestion and our nutrient absorption. It will affect energy levels, and the list can go on. So anytime that you are compromised, you should be looking after your gut and taking a probiotic. If you're doing antibiotics, highly recommend you to take a couple of days before and a week to 2 weeks post that as well, to protect your microbiome and to restore the gut bacteria. And unfortunately as well, if you speak to most people, they're dealing with some kind of stool issue as well: diarrhea, constipation, pain, bloating, or gas. All of that is an indication that there's an issue there. and one simple capsule of, and I would say of Probitec, because of the dose protection and the delivery of such a high dose to your intestine, should resolve that. The best feedback we get is when people take it and they have a positive response, but also when they run out or they forget and they're like, oh my gosh, the symptoms came back like a week or two later, and I realized how important it was, because we live an imperfect life.
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely true. So we know now that we should look at the duo cap that you've designed. Are you the only one on the market, by the way?
Yes, we are. Yeah, in South Africa, yeah, we are the only, as far as I'm aware, the only probiotic that provides full dose protection to the intestine through, yeah, and the only one with the GeoCap technology.
Amazing. So you can round this off by just give us the download or where we can get your products, and why we should use the DeoCap in a wrap.
In a wrap, so probiotics are essential to good gut health, and Probitech provides the only delivery technology, which is that capsule that will get a full dose to your intestine. And if you had to compare our dose to others on the market, it's equivalent to the brightness of a single candle versus the brightness of the sun. Mathematically, that's how much of a high dose we deliver because of the protection. And you should be able to find us pretty much at every pharmacy, Discount Clicks, Wellness Warehouse, most independents as well. Yeah, try us. We're launching a symptom relief guarantee because we do back up product. We've had phenomenal reviews and feedback from people, and we do know that it does work. So do try Probitech. You won't be disappointed.
Thank you. I certainly will. So for the listeners, you can look them up at www.probitech.co.za, right?
That's right, yeah.
And then, as you said, another main.
Probitec. Yeah.
Come again?
I was just Probitec, Probitec. Yeah.
Correct. Yes. And then in all the leading pharmacies and wellness stores. So well done, Jason. I'm sure it's been an interesting journey of bringing a quality product to the market and seeing it through. And we're grateful for all the work you put in to help us all be strong and healthy humans.
Thank you, Margaret.
Yeah. So we're looking forward to a follow-up. I think it will be with you or someone in your team to talk on the applications on the microbiome for moms and babies, and also very interesting how the birth, the way of birth is also essential in setting a good foundation for that inherited microbiome you spoke about. So I'm looking forward to that. Thank you so much, Jason. I really enjoyed this talk with you. All the best.
Thank you, Margaret.
Thank you so much for joining us today. If you enjoyed this video, please share this with a friend who will benefit from this. And remember to subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you can be notified whenever we release new videos like this on our channel. We'd love to stay in touch and keep you updated with all our latest content and resources to equip and empower you. So if you're a midwife or any type of birth and baby worker, go to sensitivemidwifery.co.za/free gift. If you're a mom, visit sisterlillian.co.za/free gift for more training and resources. That way we can keep you up to date when we release new episodes like this, plus a few other bonuses. You can also find the links I just mentioned in the show notes. Remember, you're making a big difference because you are shaping the future of humankind. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to journeying with you.